So friends, hello everybody. Today we have second part about sharpness in tattoo. If you didn't see the first part, you'd better watch that here. We shown the lack of sharpness with smooth coloring and gradient without any sharp and cut pieces. If you haven't watched that, you'd better do. So, if you watched, today we're gonna move further. Today we're speaking about how to do the sharp and clear cut pieces, because sharpness, that is one of the index of high quality application in tattoo. And to explain that, at first I would like to show you some sketchy moment on whiteboard, so iPad will help us with that. So everything to be clear enough, I'll take some simplified object that I'll be forearm, then skin, and we'll take any color and make that simple object on the skin area, for example this circle. In the future we'll add the background, but of course we don't do that in tattoo. For example, I'll take this green color and make here triangle, and of course we don't do that in tattoo. We should leave that space and that color. It would better do all that and this triangle than secondly. Would color it after it, so secondly. But what really matters, that is that joint of two colors, red and green. It should be maximally straight and sharp, not to have any smoothness. So here you'll have something like that. Maybe I've overdone that, but you've got that. If you treat skin wrong, you lose your sharpness. You will lose every sharpness with the wrong treatment with skin. So if I zoom that roughly, we have here a qualitative piece and not qualitative. How to avoid that? We have the easiest option here to be new school tattoo master and to make any outline here. Of course it will be black, because outlines are always black, so we could just outline the whole foreground like that, this triangle. And when we would color this number one color, we would bump into that outline, but with an iPad, this color goes over this line, but it doesn't work the same with tattoo. Black fresh outline couldn't be covered with any color, so this green with easy color on black wouldn't be seen. So this green with easy color on black wouldn't be seen. So this black line wouldn't be actually covered. So red, green, it doesn't matter. That black line will be black anyway, because here and here these joints wouldn't be visible. That outline kind of safe material, so all these edges will be perfectly seen and visible. So sometimes we don't need that black outline. That is not as common. So for example, if you want to do that like I do and outline just common form with black, and don't do black outlines here, and don't do them inside, so here we cannot do that outline. So how can we do that with this joint be perfectly done? So friends, in particular the best example will be background of this work here. Look here, we have some kind of shroud here, ripping on such kind of holes with light spots inside of it. So shroud closer to us is darker, and these spots which show us the deepest place with orange. You can see that holes clearly here. So let me outline it with orange and I'll show you whole difference. So here we can realize that we don't need any outlines, because I do like use background without any kind of outline for it to drown into deepness. And these on foreground I pull with outlines. Here we have a lot of threads here, that is just decorative object, not an auxiliary trick, so don't pay much attention here. So, as you can see, the midpoint point of two color, colored and orange, is really sharp. However, you peer, you won't find a dullness or imposition of bitten moment here. So, speaking actually, they're propped into each other, and we need that. We don't need one on another and other on the first one, and everything with soft waves. So we can do the sharpness in 3 ways: with Magnum, with liner, and combined. So, and we'll start with the area we're going to start with. So here we have this gap here, and I'll quickly outline it not to lose it. Kind of this format. So now we have this edge here will be red, and here will be orange, and again red, and again orange here. So if you watched my video with an elephant, I shown how to do sharp gap coming into smooth area. So I show that how to do that with Magnum. So I don't have Cheyenne needle now. They're perfect for it. I love them so much. I have only quadrons, so that's not critical, but I'd recommend you Cheyenne for that. They're more surgery accurate for it, but quadron is good as well. I'm explaining that, but it'll be great if you watch that video where I explain everything about needles. So in a nutshell, tips have this flat bottom and open part where you can see that needle. We always move from flat to open, so we'll get something like that sharp part here and more smooth here. So like that sharp part here and more smooth here. So you'll have the sharp line here and more colored line here as well. So if you do that many times in a row, you'll get something like this. So it's not perfect, as you can see. If Kirill can zoom it for you to be able to compare these two parts, probably you don't see the difference, and for usual people that is not as critical, but for me it's important. So I want it to be sharp as here, so I'm sure that it won't be held perfectly. So it's not very safe technique. It don't leave that ideal joint. It's 50-50 here. Maybe I'll be great, but so in general, if you have good skills and cartridges, you can use that for not very responsible moments with backgrounds and that is not revealing parts, so everything will look great. And it saves a lot of time because second variant is more safety, and it's with so second variant is really more safety, and it's with outline. But it's quite a longer, so it's really safety and better result. So you do that with outline. You take that color and outline that, and now when you will fill it, so when you will color it, you will bump into that outline. But here is another moment. Everything is not as obviously as it seems. So here's another trick. This outline is too thin. Perfectly, you'd better do that like that. So now it's much easier to color it, leaning to this red here, and it doesn't matter how fast or accurate you do that, no matter how careful you are, because when it's fat, it's easier not to go over it, doing it slowly. So with fat one, you can do that faster. So further, in the future, you won't waste a lot of time for aiming, and thick outline can make your life much easier. Another thing here that is thin outlines are more traumatic, so they put more dye on the skin, more concentrate, and in the future it can be visible when you fill the whole area with one color. So here this dense and fat outline with 7, 9 or 5 will be darker than main coloring, because coloring with Magnum makes it brighter and transparently, because our skin is bright. So if you don't want to highlight this joint, so if you don't want to do the darker, you'd better use broader lines. They do that not as concentrate. and less traumatic effect. Oh, it's yellow, so it's shader. So here we have this edge, and we'll link this red to it. I had 13th wrath before. We bump that right into it. So it's really easy to do that. Of course, I go over it. But you won't make red worse with red, so let it be so. Actually, whole red good. Looks really good. So finally you have much more perfect border here than before. I don't know how good camera shows it, but I can see that with my eyes. As I said before, for usual person it could be not noticeable, but if you're artisan experienced man, you can understand where is bad or good moment. I know that it will be healed perfectly in the future, with one condition I'll tell you later about. And this thing probably will be quite loose, will be inferior to this variant, and will be kind of safe for this variant in a year. So the second variant with outlines, if you want to use it fully, so in the future you'll have to put another orange outline here. And now you can see that this joint is very sharp thing, that is really quality, and they lean on each other and they won't be smoothed or anything because they usually float when you have empty skin. So it's really sharp thing that is really qualified. So it won't be smoothed, or these joints from lines, they are really strong and they bump into each other and nothing will be smoothed actually. So it won't be smooth or anything because they usually float when you have empty skin. You can go over red, but actually a little bit. So now we have this perfect joint here. Oh, by the way, if you've begun doing that, why don't you outline everything around? It won't be worse. You'll have perfect work with old outlines and it look great. So as I said before, you can go over old orange. It won't be worse, really. Now I'm going to pour some water on it to show you everything, how it looks. So just before, yeah, you can really go over it, but it won't actually make it worse, so nothing will happen. So here we are, and really quickly the work is almost done here, so this part is actually finished. So now I'm pouring some water to show you this quality. You can see that it's quite sharp actually. Of course, you can do the sharper if you don't use wide lines, if you use 7 and 5 liners and build borders with them. But I don't actually see a point in that because you won't stare at that with a microscope or camera like that we have here. But actually, at least I recommend you to do so as I did, going further. This variant, when we use Magnum and then liner, that is mixed variant 3. So, if you noticed, I colored that with dark red and outlined that and colored, and then orange, because dark colors soil brighter ones. So, before you paint it, you have to realize which one is darker. That is not difficult to get that, is dark red, and only that begin to outline with red. Then fill it, and only after that you have to outline the brighter one. So if you use Magnum first, you have to color that red, and only after that you have to pro up it bright line. when you prop it up just before and with the dark to bright, when you do that just near, it will be really soiled with the dark color. But the bright color will be light gray and it'll be under, not above skin. Okay, so now here on red Magnum, I prop up orange outline. So here we have quite the same thing. Maybe I put some color over red on millimeters, but when we put some color over red, we cannot see that and it's much faster. Then prop up every joint with liner and then fill them. This is very long to prop up 2 lines every time here everywhere. To avoid every thread here it takes a lot of time actually. So I do really prefer sometimes to color it with Magnum and then prop up with bright line. So that's will leave well, but again, if you have any responsible part, which is really important, very visible, like face or something like Hanya here, so yeah, do that like we did here with 2 outlines, dark and bright. We can use that for background and only. So few tricks here, we can avoid the darker outline when you use liner. Okay, also, I can show you these tricks here to avoid that border when you do that outline, the beginning of this queen. So for its outline and to be darker, when you do outline and you need to paint red here, make that shading here to paint it without any gaps on skin and color difference. And then you can easily color it with Magnum and you won't have this break gap in dark. You won't have any kind of gaps while you have all these colors connected with gradient. So, and one more thing is connecting these planes. Don't forget that you can use that outlines in different places, like with small details here, using these docking stripes or lines. For example, here I had this thin red stripe here, and I do that carefully. I highlighted it with orange from both sides, because that thing here creates maximally accurate coloring. Maximally docked, and all this space will be colored carefully without difficulties. So it's maximally good propped up and everything is really bumped into each other. So now you gotta see that better through that lens. You can see all these orange outlines for that picture not to go down and to be extra super clear. Here it's not suitable to paint with Magnum, this big hole. So I can take that erase and just paint it with it, not only for outlines. You can just draw it over that outline. Over and over this outline, and it will be really looks great. So it's actually filled, you can see. So you don't need to color it. So I add some more to the center, and that is orange. Friends, we've got here that sooner I'll add gray and purple and show you the process. So you can find that on my Instagram page. So if something wasn't actually clear, you can ask me in comments. You're always welcome to ask smart and interesting, intelligent questions. And I'll actually going to answer on them, because I'm actually interested in interested questions and everything that is going around. So that is always put your royal like and leave comment and share it with your friends. You're always welcome on my channel, and bye bye and have the best time.